Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Nebo Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Fonta, Flora Brewing Company out of Nebo, North Carolina. This beer is called Nebo Pilsner, obviously by the name. I think you could tell that it is a Pilsner. It's really weird. There's all this description on the back of how to pour it, which I'm not really going to follow that because that's just kind of silly. But on the other side of the can, it says fermented cool, conditioned cold, 8-week lager, never less, 5.2 alcohol by volume. So this is one style that, or just lagers in general, I think that they've done a really good job of. I've had a bunch of them at the brewery, but they haven't packaged a lot of them, and that's one of the styles that I've really wished that they packaged more of because, well, one, I want to drink them, but two, I'd like to see them get more notoriety and how good they are. So, crack this open and see what we got. That looks close to the ice cream cone, right? You know, tan here and white up top, I guess. And I do have to say, obviously, there's nothing about a Pilsner that really tastes like ice cream, but that is a really inviting label. I think it's pretty cool. As you can see, it pours a completely clear darker straw to golden color with a really nice fluffy, about a finger and a half worth of white head. Oh, that is very effervescent. So there's a lot of earthy and like slightly citrusy, like lemony, orangey hops with some nice crackery grain underneath. It just smells really good for a Pilsner. Oh man, that's good. I will say, so I did have one of these cans already, but it wasn't at home, so I wasn't able to do a review of it. This is the second time I had it. I really liked it the first time I had it, but my only complaint was I thought the hops were a little too like Americanized, like a little too much on the citrusy and less on the like the herbal, earthy noble hop character, but that first gulp of this that I took is definitely not the case. It is definitely, I mean, it does have a little bit of, citrusy character, but to me, it's only as much as I would generally get from, because some of the noble hops do have a little bit of that. It's only about that much. It's not like overly citrusy. That's so clean. It's definitely earthy. There is a little bit like orangey oil. There's some crackery malt. The bitterness is really on point. I would say this is probably more bitter than your average Pilsner, but that's not to say that it's like hoppy like an IPA at all. It's still very clean and very dry. I will say I'm kind of, as long as you know where to look, I'm in a really good spot for Pilsners. Obviously it in my opinion it couldn't possibly be better than like in Pittsburgh because all of the great Pennsylvania German brewers, but it's really honestly comparable for me between these guys, Zillicoa, Resident Culture, even Wooden Robots make some really good ones, and even OMB. You know, there's some really good Pilsners that come around in this area. This might be, I'm trying to think. I would say I probably like the Pills Don't Pay Bills from Resident Culture better than this, but not by much, and it's still and I still think this is fantastic. And that also, I shouldn't really put it in the same category because that was a Czech Pills, so that was definitely like super like skunky and dank and earthy, to a different level than what this is trying to be. They did say on their Instagram, Facebook, whatever, that this first batch was a small run, but they plan on releasing it once a quarter. I think that's great. I really hope that because a lot of people don't really care about Pilsners, that if they brew this up once every 3 months, it'll basically just be like a steady supply because it's really not going to go, because it won't necessarily sell out in a month. But yeah, this is super, super clean, very dry. It is even on the bitter side for a Pilsner, but I have no problem with that. I like that. I would rather have that than like have that longer lasting grainy sweetness. Man, I'm trucking through this thing. That's really good. Really, really good. Now, I don't remember what I paid for this because I bought it in a giant transaction with a bunch of other stuff. But I think this was like, I think it was like $12 for 4 packs. It was like $3 a can. Some people might think that's expensive for a Pilsner, but for me, I don't really give a shit what type of beer it is. If I think it's good quality, then I think it's worth the money. So, you know, I understand it's probably cheaper for them to make, but it's still worth the money, and I still don't think that's that expensive anyway. So, this is absolutely a buy for me. I really hope, like I said, I really hope they make this often enough when I could just get it whenever I want. You know, they made like Lake James Light and Lake James Life as their example of like a lawnmower beer, pool beer, whatever you want to call it. But to me, for me, this would be that. This is something that I would just crush if I was out on a boat in the lake. It's definitely more substantial than those and has more flavor. Slightly more expensive, but not that much more. And this is what I would crush. If you're gonna like Lake James Light, to me was okay, but if I wanted something like 3.5%, I would rather have the Burial Inner Tube. That beer is just fucking amazing for how small it is. But to me, this is kind of like a scale up from that. So for a beer from Fonta, Flora that I would want on as a lawnmower beer, that type of thing, this is what I would want. This is really, really great. So I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.